Hi, Ben here with Amtex Equipment with all new 2013 Inferno Stack 3047. This is one of the most genius and the most beautiful design of the Inferno we've presented to the market for past 4 years. This design was created in 2009 and I've served hundreds of companies out there purchasing this machine, all satisfied. It has truly a great performance as far as suction, heat production, and pressure. And one of the main area that was in mind creating this beauty was to create a machine with accessibility to 90-some gallon of fresh water without jeopardizing the space inside of the vehicle. That's why the name stack comes from, because everything is stacks on top of each other. From the bottom, you do have your 90-gallon freshwater tank, which is extremely easy to be removed. By removing the panel, you'll be able to simply pull the tank out. Your features are extremely gorgeous in the front. As time goes by, we do develop more and more design to kind of keep on top of the market. To the right side, it is your pressure gauge of 0 to 3,000. And in the center, you do have your dual heat production system designated preheat and production, which is the copy of the Inferno 3047 Eruption, the hottest machine in Inferno heat exchanger that we ever been able to put out. To the left side of it, it is your vacuum gauge 0 to minus 30. And of course, the far left, you're going to be seeing, just like the other unit, your chemical meter, your pressure regulator. Far left is your additional pressure outlet port for in case for your secondary operator to do any kind of floor injections, pre-treating, or what have you while you're doing a cleaning. This is where you fill your freshwater tank with fresh water, with of course the overflow of the water is going to be coming out of this hose, which later on after installing it will be sent through the floor, so that way you don't cause flooding in the vehicle. Now, as far as any other features of it, your pressure regulator is mounted mostly to the left side, very accessible for you to service and work on. As the other Infernos, you do have your pump very accessible on the top as far as services, oil change, even rebuilding the pump. There is no need for you to remove the pump off the machine. You can simply do it there on the job site, get on with your life and finish the job. Now, far left side, you do see a fuel pump tapping. This is because of the customer's request, wanted to do a fuel tap to the vehicle, so that's why we went ahead and put in an additional fuel pump. The expansion tank right above it holds 38 to 40 psi to allow the pump, the 12 DC pump on the right side, acting as a reservoir for it, allowing it not to always run, and that way you save, that way you extend the life of the 12 DC pump that you have on board. Now, your other features are very accessible, just like your water sensors and also your incoming water regulators, your batteries. Just like the other Inferno stack, there was no need for us to redesign them, because as it is, we do get a lot of compliment from our customers for them be able to get to them and service them. Again, like I said, your vacuum inlets are far left. You can have one capped off. You can do a dual action, or you can combine both together and go longest distance with this machine, as long as it allows you. Now, you do have your water inlet here, which this water is coming in from the freshwater tank underneath. However, you can always disconnect it and replace it with the garden hose water coming from the property. Now, your filtration box is far left. It's the same design. There was no need to do any kind of changes to it. It's very simple to remove. There is a stainless steel union that you can simply take apart by using no tools, lifting it up, and there is your vacuum, there's your blower filter separating itself from the tank. That way the filter stays the cleanest, the longest. As far as putting it in the back, you just got to do a snug type of, tied down. It should be fine. Inside of this tank, just like the prior stacks, because of the exterior filter housing, it allows the water inside the tank to easily get about 90% of the capacity of the tank. That means you don't have any waste of space. By having the filter inside of the tank, you'll be forced to install this flow switch much lower to prevent any kind of sewage or recovered water running through the blower and causing damages. Now coming to the front, we're about to show you the most ingenious design that was brought up to the market with this machine. This system, every system in the market done by different manufacturers, they're basically designed either direct drive or a combination of belt drive or combination of both. In other words, the engine and blower, the blower normally should run the same speed as the engine, or sometimes even higher than the speed of the engine. But when it gets to the pump system, the pressure pump system of any truck mount, a pump system cannot run as fast as the engine, because almost all of the pressure pumps, they're designed to go max RPM of 17 to 1800 max. That's why there's a pulley ratio design between the engine and the pump. If you come in here and take a look, the pulley that's going to be running your pump, let's say it's about 6 inches, but it's driven by a 3-inch pulley by the engine. So that way, if you're running the engine at 3000 RPM, you do get half of the speed on the pump, so now pump can run slower. That way you don't age it so fast. But when it gets to the blower and the engine combination, there's 2 different kind of design in the market, which is practiced by a lot of manufacturers. Either your blower is driven by the engine with a belt or with a coupling, which I'm about to show you. Now, this is called coupling design, which is used on the stack in some of our, of course, early Infernos, even the existing Infernos that we do. Now, this is the part that's going to be on your engine. If we go closer to the machine, you should be able to see the same flange. If we look through the opening right there, you can see it on the engine. You can see it from the top, much faster, better. Now, you do have a same matching one. We'll bring the camera right here. Same matching one on the blower. Now, in every design, if it's designed correctly, if these 2 are perfectly lined up with a good workmanship from the factory, normally the coupling lasts the longest time, but is always after the first repair and first replacement of the old coupling, which is this piece of rubber. With a new one, it all depends what type of workmanship was done by the operator or the repair technician putting the new coupling in. That will indicate the life and durability of the new part. That's why, like I said, we came off with a slide plate, which is extremely genius to allow you to change the coupling without any need of tearing down the machine and being in and out within a few minutes, which I'm about to demonstrate it for you. Now, the tools you're going to need is going to be extremely simple tools. We're going to have an 11/16 wrench, which is used to loosen these 4 mounting nuts on each side. You got 2 of them. There's 7/16 nuts using an 11/16 wrench. If we take the camera to the left side, you'll be able to see the other 2. Why we need a screwdriver? Because later on we need to use the screwdriver to kind of match our mounting and matching holes in order to get the perfect lineup, which I'm going to get to that in a little bit. And of course, you're going to need any kind of channel lock. Why? Because we want to be able to loosen and disconnect the engine from the heat exchangers. I've already loosened everything for you, so that way you don't need to wait around for us to wrestle with it. So one of the first things you do is to loosen your right exhaust manifold. These are all done in stainless from the right heat exchanger. And going to the left, we loosen the left exhaust manifold from the left heater. Once we know these two heat exchangers are disengaged from the engine, if you bring the camera here, now we're going to go and loosen our mounting 7/16 nuts. Like I said, they're already loosened, so that way you don't have to wait around. We're going to bring the camera here. We need to loosen this nut to the point that they're almost about to fall out. We're going to go to the left side of the machine. If you notice, one of them does not have a washers because we're trying to clear the hose, which is your engine exhaust. Engine oil drainage. We'll go to the last one. Now here's the magic. We'll bring the camera to the right. The way this machine is designed, it can be broken in 2 halves. Take a look. As I'm pulling the engine forward towards me, well, of course, getting my final disengagement. Take a look. I am breaking the machine in 2 halves. And of course, there is my coupling. Right there. Now, in order to get it out, it's very simple. Grab the coupling. At the same time, if you can bring the camera up here. by grabbing the top of the engine and pulling it towards you, you'll be able to turn the coupling sideways. Take a look. Now you can slide it out. Let's say this one was the bad one, and we need to put a new one in. All right. Let's say we got our, here we go, this is our new one right here. Let's say I'm gonna go ahead and completely replace it with a brand new one. Now in order to put this in, it's even easier. But notice, look, we have moved the engine, but the pump is not being distracted. The hoses are there. All your hoses and wirings, so they have enough slacks on them for you to be able to shift the engine forward, backwards. This is what simplicity in our design means, by inserting the new coupling sideways in, just like the way you got it out, and having it closer to the engine side. If you bring the camera to the left, this is where the fun part starts. But again, with your right hand, grab the engine. As you pull in the top of the engine towards you, lift the coupling into the place. There you go, very simple. We're gonna put the engine side in. Now all we're gonna do is just push this whole entire assembly in till we get a match up on our blower. Very simple. Easy it is. Now when we get to the blower area, we wanna make sure that all the gears are matching the flange. There it is. There's your replacement of coupling within a few minutes. Of course, we understand it does take maybe a couple of minutes or so for you to loosen some of the bolts or some of the flanges. Once the coupling is in, is where this little baby comes handy, because you want to make sure that you have got this baby lined up exactly like the way we did it at the factory. How? By simply inserting the screwdriver. There's no fight, and the screwdriver can go in and the holes are matching. Same thing on the left side. You have done perfect. See, there is no fight. Now, another sign of you doing a good job, you should be able to see your exhaust manifold going on without any fight. Take a look. Gorgeous work. We're going on this side. Same thing. I'm not fighting it. She's not fighting me. Everything is perfectly lined up. And of course, the final, you're gonna just use the same channel lock to tie these. There is no reason for you to over tie them. I can even demonstrate one for you by grabbing one with a channel lock. Just give it a snug type of feeling. That's it. Now, you go to the bottom. You still got your nuts loosened. Look, you can simply tie them. Of course, you're gonna completely tie them with the 11/16 wrench that you're gonna have on standby. We're gonna go to the left side. All of them, you're done. This is what in a direct drive, in some of the design that you see in the market, has been some type of nightmare for the technician to get in and get out. That's why we came up with the slide plate to serve two purposes. Because the difference between the engine, the Kohler engine, 20 to 30 horses, clearance from the bottom of the engine to the center of the shaft, compared to the size 4 blowers that we use from Roots, there is 1/8 of an inch difference. In other words, your engine sits kind of lower about 1/8 of an inch. That's why we came up with a 12 gauge type of plate combined with the powder coating that we use on it. We give it the exact 1/8 of a raise. That way it allows the engine not only go up enough to match the blower coupling perfectly, also it allows us to pull the engine backwards without going through a trouble of removing stuff out of our way and replacing the coupling with a new one. Again, I want to thank you for your time with me today. This is the all-new 2013 Stack 3047 that's going to be hitting the market. We already have plenty of orders in progress. Again, like I said, I want to thank you for your time, and I look forward to see you in near future videos.